And this is Bryson.
We have a new show this year called The Grind.
It's a completely different news segment that we've been working on.
And here's a little preview.
Hey guys, we're in the kitchen today with Miss Brady.
Hi everyone, I am making potato salad today. I'm going to show him how to cut a potato properly. So anyway, this is already cooked, and these are yellow Yukon potatoes. So the skins are real thin on these. So you really can just go ahead and eat these skins. Just make sure the potatoes are really clean. You cut it in two, and this is kind of a dice look. You take your knife and you cut it in two here, and then you go through and you cut. These are still hot, so that's why they're mushing up. But once you get them all choked up, if you don't like the skins, you can take them off. But I eat the skins because they're very good and high fiber, and I leave them in my potato salad. So, would you like to try to cut a potato?
Yes, I'll try that.
Alrighty, here we go.
So you slice it in half again.
Stay that way. Never come back towards the knife.
So go forward.
Yeah, always forward.
Cut it.
And never go towards you.
I'm gonna put it into the potato salad.
Then keep going. Keep going. Now these are good Yukon potatoes, and you don't always get these year-round. But right now they're really plentiful, and that's why potato salad is extremely good. These Yukon potatoes were at Save-A-Lot this week for the game, and so I'm getting lots of them. And the kids all like potato salad, so that's why I'm really He's got this down pat, doesn't he? Isn't this great? Yeah, keep going, Cameron. We'll have the potatoes done here in a couple minutes. All right.
Thanks, Miss Brady.
Well, you're welcome. You come back in the kitchen anytime.
That's cooking with Miss Brady.
So there's definitely a little bit of humor there, but there's a learning component, and I think that it's something that we're going to be able to expand upon as we move forward with little segments for the community to see what we're doing at the high school, and what better way to show the community that we have a gourmet cooking program at Lincoln County High School, and we'll be able to expand upon that, maybe even doing some sort of dish or something like that when it gets to the holiday season, and be able to advertise that through our school website and maybe even on Armstrong. So something we're really excited about. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. And this is another innovative school program. That's our Panther Proud with Pride, which is basically funded through our S3 grant. And this is talking about expectations, about students that need to follow the 6 Ps. And something that's been very important to us is making sure that expectations, while we talk about having high expectations, teachers, administrators have to model that. In addition, we always need to be focusing back on that we do have high expectations, and these are how you live up to them. And so if you'll go ahead and start this one.
Actually, before I start this, I want to point out that these kids came in over the summer, like 2 weeks before school started, in order to shoot this video, because this was, one of the things they asked me to do. We ordered some equipment and we got it in time, and these guys gave up there a couple days.
And this is what has been shown to staff as well as students this year. Welcome to Lincoln County High School, home of the Panthers. I'm Mr. Sachs, I'm the principal, and each year represents a new opportunity for personal, social, and academic growth. The goal of the faculty and administration of Lincoln County High School is to provide an education that encourages and develops social and emotional growth, critical thought, analytical problem solving, leadership, and citizenship.
The LCHS Positive Incentive Program is entitled Proud with Pride. This program rewards behaviors that support the school-wide expectations for academics, attendance, and conduct.
These expectations are: be responsible, always strive, cooperate with others, and treat everyone with dignity and respect.
Students will be rewarded for good conduct and receive a conduct grade. To make sure you get and keep all of your points, be mindful of the 6 Ps.
Be positive.
Be prompt.
Be productive.
Be polite.
Be prepared. Be present.
All students will begin each 6 weeks term with 100 points. Points will be deducted for different violations. Please check our student handbook for more details.
All LCH faculty and staff have the ability to reward students with Panther Paces, which can be redeemed in the school store. Students can be rewarded for being nominated for Student of the Month, Most Improved Student, or actually being Student of the Month.
Honor roll, improving class grades, and unannounced teacher checks. So always be prepared for class.
Improving benchmark grades, West Test scores, and ACT scores of 22 or higher.
Dug attention, or tardies, and students caught doing good deeds.
The new school year promises to bring about continued positive changes at Lincoln County High School, and I invite you to get involved. Let's make it a great year, and let's bring on the Panthers. So that kind of gives you a quick, as quick as I can make it, I apologize, but a quick snapshot of some of the successes we've had this year, some of the reasons for our successes, and what we need to do in order to continue to be successful and to show growth. We do feel, as the LSIC school leadership team, S3 team, sort of have all consulted in on what we feel we need to continue to grow and to be able to provide those additional jumps and gains that we would like to see. One of the first things that I would like to bring your attention to, and we sort of have prioritized this, is weighted honors courses. Back in the late spring, I talked with you all about the need for weighted honors courses. I've gone ahead and I've also provided you some literature and some research on the benefits of weighted honors courses. Currently at Lincoln County High School, we weight our AP courses, and we have not had weighted honors courses for quite some time. The thing about honors courses is it is, in some respects, it's preparing students for the rigor of AP as well as for the rigor of college. And honors courses are much more rigorous. They're much more, they're at a higher pace, and it challenges students. And students need to be rewarded for taking on that challenge, and for them to take on the extra coursework and the extra effort that is required, and then to be graded and held sort of exactly the same as a student who would take a regular course, I feel, as well as my colleagues feel, is not really fair. And I want to give you a scenario that we have already actually had that's coming up. We had several students. We had several students who were, their 9th grade year was in Cabell County. And they were a scholarly student. They had weighted honors courses in Cabell County. And now they're here, and as a result of their cumulative GPA is actually higher than some of our Lincoln County High School students. And if you remember, we have a $5,000 grant or a $5,000 scholarship to the top 5 Lincoln County High School graduates. And so some of our students are actually upset that their honors courses aren't weighted at this point because they feel like they're at a disadvantage of some of these other students in neighboring counties. You know, and I never, when I addressed the board before, I never would have thought that it would have affected our students directly, you know, in a current high school setting when it comes to their cumulative GPA, as it's actually showing to do now. My concern was more for our students competing against other students in other counties like Kanawha, Cabell, and Mason when they're looking at scholarships that they're competing against and getting those scholarships. So it's actually probably going to cause a problem where our classes aren't weighted now for students who are wanting to graduate with within those top 5 spots. But I think that we're going to be able to communicate what's going to need to take place there with those students. But the big issue is that our students want to be pushed to take higher level rigorous classes. But if they're not going to get rewarded for it, they're not going to put forth the effort. And we need to, and I really do feel like we need to be able to reward our students. So this is something that I know needs policy revision. And that my goal is that we sort of get the blessing of the board to proceed with that policy revision to make honors classes weighted, be able to put it out to the community for the allotted amount of time, and then to bring it before you all again and for you all to hopefully approve that. I know Ms. Terry was here this evening because she's an advocate for it and wanted to specifically make sure that you all were aware that she was here. There's also a letter from one of our teachers. And of course, many of our other teachers just weren't able to fit in their schedule this evening, but it is definitely backed by our school leadership team and our LSIC. Something else that we really feel is a direct correlation to our success has been our after-school program, after-school detention specifically, as well as our Saturday school, which was funded in previous years. However, it is my understanding that money no longer exists because of grants. And as of right now, we do not have the money to fund those after-school programs. And I know that we are looking at maybe a little bit of Gear Up money, but I'm not sure that the Gear Up money will actually fund that, so that's something we have to look at. But as of right now, we don't have any after-school detention, which is, in our discipline matrix, is something that has been very successful. And we're already, with our S3 grant, already spending so much money for our in-school detention, it's going to be very, very difficult to pull out any more money for our after-school detention program. And that $10,000 that's estimated is at 4 days a week. So if we needed to shave a little bit, we could definitely do so by making it down to 2 or 3 days a week. But again, our goal is to not suspend students. And by having after-school detention, that's just one more intervention that we can have that keeps students in school, but also makes them mindful that they need to have the correct behavior. And most of the time, after-school detention is for skipping class or skipping an actual lunch detention or something like that. The other thing that we would like to request is our LSIC, as well as our school leadership team, feel that it would be very, very beneficial to have, at least on a rotating basis, a co-teacher in our history as well as our science classes, and to be able to specifically target some of those subgroups that we weren't able to show growth in, or the fact that we have some really, really low scores in. And currently, we don't have the staff to be able to fit that need. And in addition, with the staffing that we already have in place, we're having to have, for example, in our math and English sometimes, a co-teacher can't be there every single day. They have to be able to do maybe one day and then another day, be in a different class and then come back. So they alternate, like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, Tuesday, Thursdays, every other Fridays type schedules. So again, being able to have some additional support staff to target some of those subgroups is going to be very, 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 very needed, I think, for us in the future. And then on our wish list would be also to have some digital clocks that are aligned with our bell system in the hallways as well as the cafeteria, so students are well aware how much more time they have to get to class to target those tardy issues that we do have. And we haven't looked at costs or anything like that, but it was definitely something that the LSIC team felt was something that the students have been requesting, and of course teachers have been requesting for a while. So that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Who wants to go first? Everything. I have a couple. Mr. Sachs. Now, the program
Edmodo?
Edmodo. Now, is that site, can a parent access that site to see how their child is doing in that class or whatever?
I believe that what we have on our website is actually the actual login information, but you can answer that question.
Yeah, actually, students, like for my class, I give students a personal code, and when the students join under that code, they're just in my class. They're not for the whole math department. So I can also have a parent code, and the parents can also join that, but they won't be, it's kind of a separate page. The parents aren't involved in the students' conversations, but the parents can talk to me.
Well, they can see what their status in the class is?
Yeah, yes.
Well, the status in the class is through Edline and their online grades that they can access. So Edmodo doesn't actually show grades, does it?
It doesn't. It's not linked with our Edline, but we can post grades on there. You know, if we post a quiz or something like that, we can grade it on Edmodo and post a grade. But it's an easy way for parents too to contact the teachers, and we can also respond back to them.
But all this would be prior to an actual grading period ending, right? Even what you're talking about too.
It's all ongoing.
Right. So, I mean, I don't have to wait until they receive their grade card or report card.
No, and actually, parents can check their students' Edline page, which they all have activation. They all have codes for. They can check that every day of the week if they wanted to see their child's progress in a class, because all those grade books are electronic. It's not in your program there, but through our school's website. They log in, parents have a code, students have a code, and every day a lot of our teachers are uploading their grade books online so that parents can see their child's progress. And it's specifically to that student. So if, for example, I don't think we have a parent in here, do we? I could give an example, but basically they log in here, and when they go in, they'll pull up their child, and they'll have their child's classes. They can click on the class, and it'll actually have their actual grade. It'll have missing assignments. It'll have teacher messages, the whole 9 yards.
And how is this communicated to parents that they have the ability to do this?
Well, we send out mailings home to parents, which we're in the progress of doing right now for the 6 weeks. And then, of course, on our school website, they can also log in as well as right there.
I mean, as a parent, how do I know that I can do that?
Well, that's what I'm saying is we do a mailing home to parents that gives them their access codes to let them know. We've had, during open house, we've had parent trainings that they can participate in to learn how to use the system. I will tell you, though, that for the most part, our 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students, all the parents are already very familiar with this because we've been using this system for about 5 years now. The ninth graders that are incoming, they used live grades in years past, so they're a little bit new to Edline. So those are the students that we're specifically targeting right now, so that parents are aware of how they can check their grades and things like that.
While you're on, is all of the math teachers on the Ed modem?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Is all the teachers using the Ed line?
Mm-hmm. They're expected to, and then what we do is at the end of every week, regardless of whether or not they posted, we post grades on Edline. Like, I hit a button and it automatically sends their grade books.
The reason why I asked, I have a son just graduated here 2 years ago, and in elementary school, you've got a midterm grade,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes kids will be kids, they'll get a little lazy. In the midterm, you've got kind of a low grade, you can take Xbox 360 from them, it gives them a little encouragement to
Right.
do well. But when you get to high school, that mid grade disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, some of the teachers was excellent using Edline, keeping it up to date and stuff. And you could communicate with them, shoot them an email and communicate to make sure you keep a fire under your kids. Because kids will be kids. And all of them wasn't real active on
Mm-hmm.
up to date. I was just wondering, are they doing that?
I feel like they're doing a better job than they were 2 years ago, just from my personal perspective. But it is something that we, in my expectations that I communicate to teachers, as well as my assistant principals, and of course parents. When parents call, they'll say, I don't see a grade. Why is that? So parents are holding teachers pretty accountable as well. So I feel like we're in a better place than we have been, but it is something that we have to work through sometimes.
Parents will help us get the grades up if they know ahead of time. Once you get the report cards, too late, damn.
Right.
They know, like, I'm a big fan of a midterm grade. That way you can say, you've got to now until report card to get this.
Now, and one of the things that we've been emphasizing, based upon what data shows, what the research says is higher levels of learning is a lot of project-based learning. Well, sometimes project-based, lessons can span over a 4 or 5 day period. So just because there might only be 1 or 2 grades a week that are being posted does not mean that active learning isn't going on. But it is important for the parents to continually check that. And if they're not seeing any kind of progress, for them to contact the school. And so maybe we need to do a better job of communicating that to parents, is that, make sure that you're contacting us if you're not seeing something. But we try to stay pretty much on top of our teachers on that.
Mr. Sachs, how many hits do you get on this website from a parent? There's no way you can isolate and tell that.
I'm sure there would be. I don't know how to do that. Maybe that's something we could look into. I do feel that it's quite heavily used, though. Because what happens is that if something's not posted, we're the first to know about it. Okay. We usually know that it's been, we made a mistake and we didn't post a schedule change or, something like that for athletics. So,
Give me a second, I might be able to tell you how many active users we have.
Well, active users, we have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4,000 active users. And that's students, parents, and teachers. Yeah, I know that for a fact. Now, like daily hits or weekly usage, I'd have to probably pull up some sort of report.
There's no way you can isolate student, parent, or interested party is.
As in, who's coming to the site
Right,
to visit it?
right.
No.
No.
What we can isolate is how many times students have logged on or how many times parents have logged on within a given period of time.
Okay.
That would be to access, for example, their grades. But just to come to the site to use tools like, the calendar, we would probably be able to just have a site counter that would tell us how many people have come to access that site.
Looks like 2,039 active users.
Okay. So there's 2,039. So we must have deleted a bunch from
Well, there
last
was
year.
the from
Okay.
the year before.
It's a very great program for the teachers that stays on it, because you can just shoot them, communicate with them. It's a very great program.
One thing I like about it is it's updated weekly, and as the guy who trains all the new teachers and stuff on it, this year I had a very small group, and it was mostly all just the brand new teachers, with the exception of 1 or 2 people who wanted to come in and sit down and get a refresher course on how to do it. I've never actually been to TIS in a building where there was a TIS, and Angie did a wonderful job getting everybody straightened out and in line and started into this program. Now, a couple of years ago, when it was relatively new, that's probably when you had the problems and the issues. But this year, as far as coming in from the adoption point of it, and me coming into it, kind of brand new. I mean, I used it, several years ago when I was in another school in another county that shall not be mentioned. Here it was very easy for me to come in and just get through the handful of teachers and stuff that needed help with, posting their grades, and that was about it.
Mr. Sachs, you referred to Armstrong a while ago. You're referring to Channel 39?
When the school had opened up, I don't know if I'm referring to 39 or not. When the school opened up, Armstrong was willing to give us a station that we could air like football games and athletic
39.
events and that sort of stuff. And so it's something that we have wanted to sort of pursue because of the fact that we're going to have a really innovative news broadcast, and it might be neat to be able to sort of stream that or air that on that station's, with a loop or something so parents can see that.
Only the science department could clone me.
Yes.
They wouldn't be okay.
Working on that.
Are there any other questions?
Anybody have anything else? As far as, one of your needs were on these after-school and Saturday detention programs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you do now? I know you have in-school suspension.
Well, what we're doing now is we have one teacher that has been volunteering to stay after school 1 day a week, which I don't know how long that will go on, because I sort of pleaded with my staff that, we know how successful this is, and we don't have the money for it right now. Hopefully it will come, but let's get the year off right. If there's anybody who can volunteer to stay after school for our after school detention, that would be helpful. And actually, Melissa Walker is the teacher who has volunteered to do that. She does it on Mondays. And then on the other days, for administrators who have after-school athletic events that they have to supervise, we've been volunteering to just sort of watch the kids prior to our need to be at one of the events. So that's how we've been handling that right now.
About how many are staying?
Students? Well, when they stay, we usually have somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 or 8 out of 12 or 15. So about half of the students actually take part in it.
Anything else in mind?
I just like to say thank you all. I think you're doing fast, moving in the right direction. We greatly appreciate your hard work and dedication.
They're an amazing staff. They've done some wonderful things over the past couple of years, and even our new staff have really bought into the model, have bought into the expectations, and it's going to be very, very difficult to leave them. But I think that they are at a good place to be able to move forward, and I just hope that the next person that comes in has the vision to continue to work with these fine teachers and move our school in the right direction.
We have good teachers here, very good teachers.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.